Welcome back to the Kingdom Podcast, the place where we talk about building your mindset, mastering your habits, and creating the life you were meant to live. Today, we're diving into something that every single one of us has felt at some point in our journey: the fear of failure. That voice that whispers, what if it doesn't work? What if I look stupid? What if I'm not good enough? And you know what's wild? That voice doesn't just stop people from failing, it stops people from even starting. But here's what I've learned through my experience, through coaching, and through my own setbacks. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Every person you've ever looked up to, every great entrepreneur, athlete, or leader has failed more times than most people have even tried. But they kept going. They failed forward. See, failure is just feedback. It's life's way of saying, hey, that didn't work, try something different. When you stop seeing failure as something final and start seeing it as information, you take back your power. Because the truth is, you don't grow by always getting it right. You grow by learning what doesn't work. You grow through the process, through the adjustment, through the resilience you build along the way. When I first started coaching, I had no idea what I was doing. I second-guessed myself constantly. I compared myself to other coaches who seemed to have it all figured out. And I remember thinking, what if I fail? What if nobody listens? And you know what? Sometimes I did fail. Sometimes my ideas didn't work out, and sometimes people didn't show up. But every single one of those experiences taught me something that success never could. They taught me how to adapt, how to stay consistent, how to build from the ground up. And looking back now, none of those failures were actually failures. They were necessary steps. They were the foundation. The only true failure is never starting or quitting too soon. You can bounce back from mistakes, you can learn from a loss, but you can't grow from inaction. You can't learn what works by staying on the sidelines. You only figure it out once you step into the arena. And that's what most people miss. They think failing means losing. But the real loss happens when you let the fear talk you out of trying. Every time you back away from something because you might fail, you're also walking away from the version of you that could have been. The confident you, the capable you, the one who figures it out. Because that version of you, the stronger one, only shows up after you take the risk. Think about when a kid learns to walk. They fall. A lot. But they don't stop. They don't say, I guess walking isn't for me. They get back up and they keep trying. Somewhere along the way, though, as adults, we start believing that falling means we're failing, when in reality, it just means we're learning something new. So if you're afraid of failing, that's okay. It just means you care. It means what you're doing matters to you. But don't let the fear paralyze you. Let it guide you. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it remind you that what you're chasing is worth it. Because here's the truth. You can't get to success without walking through failure. There's no shortcut. There's no way around it. Failure is part of the blueprint. Every lesson, every setback, every no you've ever heard is simply a rep, building the muscle that leads to mastery. So instead of asking, what if I fail? Start asking, what will I learn from this? Because that question changes everything. There's a quote that says, failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. That's it. That's the game. Every time you fail, you're not going backward. You're gathering data. You're becoming wiser, tougher, and more resilient. You're getting closer to the person who can succeed. So maybe failure isn't something to fear at all. Maybe it's something to thank. Because without it, you never grow. So today, I want you to think about this. What's one thing you've been avoiding because you're afraid it won't work? Whatever came to mind just now, that's probably the thing you need to start. Take one small step, send that message, record that video, apply for that job, start that business. Even if you fall, you'll be further than you were yesterday. Because every step forward, even the messy ones, are steps towards who you're becoming. There's a quote that says, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently." That's it. That's the game. Every time you fail, you're not going backward. You're gathering data. You're becoming wiser, tougher, and more resilient. You're getting closer to the person who can succeed. So maybe failure isn't something to fear at all. Maybe it's something to thank. Because without it, you never grow. So today, I want you to think about this. What's one thing you've been avoiding because you're afraid it won't work? Whatever came to mind just now, that's probably the thing you need to start. Take one small step, send that message, record that video, apply for that job, start that business. Even if you fall, you'll be further than you were yesterday. Because every step forward, even the messy ones, are steps towards who you're becoming. Remember, success isn't built on perfection. It's built on persistence, on the willingness to try again. You're not defined by how many times you fall. You're defined by how many times you rise. So fail forward, learn fast, and keep building. Because the only true failure is never starting. If this episode spoke to you, take a second to reflect on what fear might be holding you back right now. And remember, you're never alone. Join our community inside the Kingdom Trading Academy on Skool, where we go deeper into mindset, daily discipline, and breakthrough habits together. The link will be in the description below. Until next time, keep building your mindset and keep building your kingdom.